Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. I normally go live either on Tuesday or Wednesday nights with my good friend Jeremy, who I met on the road to WrestleMania 41. I ended up hanging out with him a lot in Las Vegas, normally on Tuesdays or Wednesdays or an occasional Sunday. We've gone live on his channel talking about wrestling, talking about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. He's got game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and he's also leaving to be going on vacation. I think he's going on another cruise. We normally do these streams over on the Rock and Knowles channel. I know that normally I come on here and I talk to myself. It's honestly really fun to be doing a show, having like ideas bounced off back and forth. I think it's honestly really fun when we don't really agree on everything that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And we get to like kind of bicker and go back and forth and like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. I'm right. No, you're wrong. Um, but he's honestly a really good dude. If I didn't say it yet, his YouTube channel is Rock and Knowles. Rock like rock and roll music. Like he just went to a Metallica concert. Knowles, as in like the Seminoles down there in Florida State. It's been a while since they won a big one, but he's probably one of the biggest Florida State fans there are out there. So go over there, follow his channel so you can see these live shows. Basically, I just drew up a plan of what I thought we would have talked about if we went live this week, and it's just basically notes that I wrote down on a smud bill that I got to remember to pay once I'm done with this. And it's just the upcoming matches that have already been planned for the summer of 2025. We got a really big SmackDown coming up this Friday. I believe all of the King and Queen of the Ring matches will go down on there, setting up the finals for the Night of Champions pay-per-view. I believe we're going to have Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton, as well as Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso. Then if you look over at the Queen of the Ring, it's going to be Roxanne Perez going up against Jade Cargill, and then Alexa Bliss going up against Asuka. Then I would guess is going to be the main event is a non-title match, which makes no sense to me. R-Truth versus John Cena, which I think WWE thinks is one of the hottest feuds in WWE as of right now that I don't think a lot of people care about. It was fun to see R-Truth wrestle at the last Saturday night's main event. I didn't know that it was a non-title match until the match was already over, but they're going to run it again. And my fear, as in, like 2011, CM Punk, when Triple H just had to beat Punk. I believe that was at a Night of Champions pay-per-view. I think they're going to beat R-Truth again. And I don't know. I think they're going to squander the little bit of fun they have going on. I think if Truth was, if he was in the world of John Cena, just not having matches against John Cena, you could build this guy up to be an upper mid-card guy that would be believable to win the United States Championship, to win an Intercontinental title. But being in the main thing after being such a jokeable character doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. From there, we're going to be going to Punk versus Cena at Night of Champions. We'll talk about. Then we get Goldberg versus Gunther on Saturday night's main event, which was set up last night by Goldberg's return. That, of course, is going to be going down July 12th. So, I don't know. I got my Sprite with tea, which I think is going to be pretty much the drink of the summer. It's better in a bottle than it is with cans. I picked these up on Amazon. Amazon was running a 312 pack for $18, and that kind of is the same price as Costco, but Costco doesn't offer the Sprite with tea, so I went and picked them up that way. So it's gonna be weird because I don't have anybody to talk to, but I do remember like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, probably 10 years ago, I was doing like hour-long videos. They weren't going out live. I called them like, I think I might have called them the stupid like SB radio or something like that from back in the day. But we'll get into the King of the Ring. which will be going down on SmackDown. Like I said, this is going to be a jam-packed show. It's almost like this is like involved in some sort of a ratings war. Like maybe they're trying to heist up, USA to get more money. They just signed a TV deal that doesn't make a lot of sense. There's no AEW going up against it, but you look at a SmackDown and you got a John Cena match, you got a Cody Rhodes match. Not only that, you got a Randy Orton match, as well as Jey Uso is one of the biggest merch movers there is in the company. That's a damn good night. That reminds me a lot of like watching Monday Night Raw or SmackDowns back in the early 2010s when guys like Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, they wrestled every night. TKO, they kind of honestly seem like they have a little bit of an easier schedule for these guys. You still show up on Raw, you show up on SmackDown, you deliver promos. You might get in some little a brouhaha, but you're not wrestling real wrestling matches. You only wrestle on TV every once in a while. You're having the big pay-per-view match once a month. Some guys, it's not even once a month. I'm wondering in the long term if this has got to kind of guys' careers will get prolonged, but because of the fact they're not working house shows, they're not working as much TVs. I wonder if these guys are going to get treated like movie stars, where they're still able to sign these big contracts to keep them in the company, or if deals will slightly go down because there's not the other shows and they're just not wrestling as much. They're still out there entertaining. I'm not really quite sure. I don't think it's going to hurt their bottom line that much as of yet. But Seth Rollins, he did in an interview where basically he was talking about how TKO's new style is going to prolong his career, where he thought he was only going to go for 2 years. Now it seems like he might be able to go for as long as 5. Let's get down to this first match. We've got Sami Zayn from Monday Night Raw. He's going to be going up against Randy Orton. When you think about these guys and then moving along inside of the tournament, you got to be thinking about what championship they're going to be fighting for. Sami Zayn, he is on the Raw brand, which means if he won this, he would go up against Gunther. Randy Orton would be going up against John Cena. That is where the promo on Sunday, and I'm sorry, the promo on Friday on SmackDown came from, where basically Orton got involved in John Cena's opening of the show, saying that, he's been around so long. He's a big time champion. He wants to hold the championship one more time. He doesn't know how much longer he's going to be going. He was that close at Backlash. And when it really comes down to it, the only reason why he didn't win it was because of R-Truth coming down and getting involved inside of that match. If Orton wins this, he's one step closer, to getting towards John Cena. Sami Zayn would be going up against Gunther, who he's not the last guy to beat Gunther, but he did. He is the last guy, I guess is the way to say that. He beat him at WrestleMania 39 for the Intercontinental Championship. Then, of course, after WrestleMania, when he lost the Intercontinental, he regrouped. He found a way to win the King of the Ring tournament, which made him the #1 contender against Damian Priest at SummerSlam. And, not only thanks to Finn Balor on the outside and the crumbling Judgment Day, Gunther became the World Heavyweight Champion. So it is possible for this whole thing to come down. If you go back to Monday and you saw what was happening, Sami Zayn, I think, is preoccupied. Sami Zayn was going to the general manager, which was a fill-in. So it means it would have been not Adam Pearce. I always get stuck on the SmackDown guy. But he was running to the principal, basically asking for a match against Karrion Kross next week on Monday. If Sami Zayn is running to the principal, basically asking for a match against Karrion Kross, it makes me think that Sami Zayn already believes that he is, lost this match and he's looking for his next feud somewhere along the way. There's going to be a lot of fans out there that are really pumped that Karrion Kross is going to be wrestling on television. Of course, this last televised match would have been right before WrestleMania 41 when he had the match against AJ Styles. The week after WrestleMania 41, Karrion Kross on his own YouTube channel. I haven't had a chance to check out his podcast. I haven't heard anything really about it if it's already launched. But the last thing that came from him that I saw was on his YouTube channel. He made his own documentary that I think skated the line, basically going up until his promo at the WrestleMania post show. I was about to say the press conference, but he wasn't being interviewed. He just came up there on the stage and just basically took over, uh, running down WWE, which, they released his T-shirt, but we're here in June now. That happened April 20th, I believe. And this guy's been on television, but he actually hasn't actually wrestled in a match. So wheels turn slow sometimes in WWE when people are hyping themselves up to where WWE has to figure out, is this somebody that the fans really believe in, or is this somebody that's just causing a little bit of buzz, but they're going to be a flash in the pan? The Zack Ryder push of 2010 didn't happen overnight. Basically, I felt like he blew up at WrestleMania 27. I think that the gathering of wrestling fans, the first time I saw one of the Ryder videos, Miguel freaking yeah 88, he was playing it in the car. That was like the first one, I believe, when Ryder had a press conference for WrestleMania. Triple H showed up. It was it was a good episode, and I started watching the show after that. But I mean, he really didn't start getting used on TV more frequently and actually getting wins until later that year. I believe his big win against Dolph Ziggler would have been at TLC, so that would be the December pay-per-view. So we'll see if Karrion Kross is actually going to get used out of this whole deal. But just the fact that he's preoccupied, already going off on another thing. I think Randy Orton's going to win this match. They've already set the plans with him getting close to Cena. It makes me think that some sort of if you go back to what year was that? Probably 99 or 2000. There was a time when Triple H was the champion, and they had a six-pack challenge, which I think involved like Mankind. I know the British Bulldog was in there. Undertaker might have been hurt at that time, but The Rock was in there. It makes me think that they're going to be setting up some sort of a big match, like a six-pack challenge for Cena, where he's going to have to overcome the odds, whether that happens like in a Survivor Series or something like that. I've noticed that the pictures that have come out or just the graphics, it doesn't say War Games on there, so I don't know if they're just trying not to like give it away. That's going to be coming, but I think that honestly would be fun, of Cena going into a big match as him being champion, and thinking that the odds are honestly really stacked against him if he was to be champion until till Survivor Series. I mean, that's pretty late in his year. If he escaped that, there's going to be whatever this December pay-per-view in Boston is going to be. I think they're calling it Ruthless Aggression. But I'm really not quite sure. But Orton would really set up the next match, where you look at Cody Rhodes, who's going to be fighting against Jey Uso. Cody, of course, if he gets the win for SmackDown, the SmackDown branded champion would be John Cena. Uso would be fighting against Gunther. If that they were to win and get the SummerSlam. Both of those big rematches, of course, Cody and Cena at WrestleMania 41, Jey Uso and Gunther just happened on Monday Night Raw, I believe 2 weeks ago. These are two friends in the wrestling world. We've seen these guys team up at no, they didn't team up at Bad Blood, but I believe that they teamed up and they won the tag belts. I can't remember exactly what show that was. I was going to say Bad Blood, which happened in Atlanta last year, but that was Cody and Roman. But it was when Uso first made the switch, and it was kind of like Cody showing the Monday Night Raw brand, especially a guy like Drew McIntyre, that you could trust Jey Uso, that it was not like some sort of bloodline plan to send him to Monday Night Raw, to send him away, and then basically still be the backstabbing bloodline guy that was. He really could be trusted. He really was a bad guy, a good guy, and wanted to fight Roman Reigns for everything wrong that he had done to him and his family along the way. So they have the history. They just hooked up at Money in the Bank when they took on Logan Paul and John Cena. Um, this is a tough one to do. But honestly, Jey Uso, he was out there. He had his ribs all taped up from his match. I don't see, a week long, healing process from him. The guy is beat up. He has worked one hell of a schedule since basically the WrestleMania match against Gunther. And then the lead up to the rematch with Gunther, the guy was fighting at Money in the Bank. He was helping his friends in squabbles that they were in. And he just looks like he's just preoccupied. He looks like he's got too much on his plate. And I think it's going to be hard for him to go in there against Cody. Cody, to me, is the king of the castle when it comes to WWE. I see Cody Rhodes getting the win here. In my mind, the match that would be set up would be Cody versus Randy Orton in the final. That would happen at Night of Champions. There's a lot to put on the plate there. And I mean, WWE, when it comes to like the pre-show, they could build one hell of a video package going all the way back to Legacy. When was that? 2008, 2009. When Randy Orton, he took Ted DiBiase as well as Cody Rhodes under his wings, basically they all being third generation superstars. There was a guy named Samu that was there for a good minute. I think he's related to the bloodline somehow. The only guy in the bloodline to ever really flop in WWE. I think he joined Legacy, and within like a week, maybe even 2 weeks, he had like one match on television. I don't even know how they kicked him out of the group. I think he just disappeared. But that would be one hell of a setup. Both of those guys, you could get there, but I think the match that everybody's gunning for is Cody Rhodes against John Cena come SummerSlam. And I'll tell you the truth, I think you build all the hopes up, and especially you have all the people that aren't really believing in John Cena's heel turn. I think the problem with John Cena's heel turn is that people just they've never seen John Cena as a heel. It was a long time ago when this fool was fighting Brock Lesnar. He was spitting the rhymes. When he got over, is that they turned him babyface, honestly, really, really fast. And it's been a long time since we've seen him a heel. A lot of people have never seen him, so they don't like this style. They like the style where John's going to go out there and do anything it takes to win the match. And now the only thing he's thinking about is keeping that championship. It doesn't matter if it's a win. It's just that he gets to keep the belt. It doesn't matter if it's a disqualification. It doesn't matter if it's a count out. He just wants to go down as, the last real champion. And he's going to do that any way possible, although he is asking for tougher competition. And when it comes to WWE, CM Punk himself, who is the number one contender right now, said that Cody was the best they had. So I don't know why, CM Punk would take this shot. I think he just wants to teach Cena a lesson, and which doesn't make any sense. I think when the whole thing was set up, I don't think Punk would have known storyline wise. Sometimes I think about wrestling too literally. Maybe he didn't know that, or maybe he did know that Cody was already entered into this King of the Ring tournament. So he wasn't able to just say, I want to fight you in Saudi Arabia or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But actually, Cena was the one who challenged him. So I think that's straight. And if Cody came out the winner of the King of the Ring thing, I think that's your best chance scenario. The Queen of the Ring with the women, you've got Roxanne Perez going up against Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is somebody on the SmackDown roster. She's like Rhea Ripley. Until there's a Rhea Ripley match against Jade Cargill, I'm picking Jade every time. I don't see how this girl loses. I know that, there's the whole thing of we all want to see this big three-way match again with at Bianca Belair. I don't think I'll ever get used to that. She's been on the main roster for years, and I stutter on that every time. But I just think that I'm going to pick her every time. I don't see how she loses. I think that Liv Morgan, you can see that the beginning of Raw, I think that she was a huge piece of the women's division. It was pretty much Monday night. She called it Monday Night Morgan at the beginning of the show, but before her injury that happened, which I haven't read today how serious it is. Is this a surgery situation? Was it just a separation? They were able to pop it back in. Um, that's going to be huge, especially with her match that looks like it's going to be against Nikki Bella at Evolution. No, yeah, Evolution too. Um, but I think that she was going to play into this whole deal. I could see her getting involved in that match, trying to make sure maybe Roxanne didn't win, even though they're stable partners in Judgment Day. Then on the other side, you got Alexa Bliss going up against Asuka. That's a really really hard thing to pick. But we'll start with Roxanne Perez going up against Jade Cargill. Roxanne Perez is like a diamond in the rough. She is like a future star if there ever is one. Um, on the Monday Night Raw brand coming up from NXT. I can't tell you that I watched a lot of her run or any of her run in NXT. She kind of is a real big surprise to me, but the way she hung around in the Royal Rumble and they trusted her to be in there for, I believe, over an hour. And then her having the awesome showing inside of the Elimination Chamber. She was my pick to win the chamber. I thought that she was doing so well as a rookie. She really didn't get used at WrestleMania. But here she is, as a shining light of the Raw division. Jade's just hard to pick against. I don't know how to do it, but I think that Liv was going to be involved in this match somehow to sort of push on the Judgment Day storyline, which I hope isn't going the way of NWO 2002 inside of the WWE when Kevin Nash got injured, and then all of a sudden Ric Flair of all people just says to begin Monday Night Raw the next week, I'm dissolving the NWO, which basically, Shawn Michaels is the manager. He's gone. Booker T, he's just going back to being Booker T. X-Pac is going back to X-Pac. It's just everybody's on their own. These guys aren't partners anymore. Everything that was going down in WWE, honestly, is done. And then on the other side, you've got shoot, I just lost that completely. This is kind of hard to do by myself. Jeremy, as like the ship leader, is honestly really, really good in this. I don't think I've made a 23-minute video in a long time. Jade, I think she's got championship dreams, and I think that she's gonna get there. I just don't know how long WWE wants to kind of like keep her waiting in the wings to get there, but she's close right now. Jade is who I'm picking to beat Roxanne. Like I said, I think it's going to take some sort of weirdness. I don't know if they're going to keep going with the Liv's partner, Raquel. I don't know if they're going to keep going with that, where maybe she'll get involved in this match where she's trying to do the bidding of Liv, or if Liv's just going to disappear, which opens the door of like, remember what happened when Dominic was left on his own in the Judgment Day when Mommy was hurt. That's when Liv Morgan, started warming up to him and started leaving her key card and all kinds of things trying to get at Dominic because she wanted what Rhea Ripley once had. So in that match, I'm going to take Jade Cargill. The next match with Alexa Bliss and Asuka, that's a hard match to pick. I didn't pick Asuka to win her four-way because of the way that she just came back from her knee injury. And I didn't know how she would be pushed so fast inside of Monday Night Raw. I thought that Stephanie Bakir was going to get the win, but Alexa Bliss on SmackDown, she got the real big comeback at the Royal Rumble. It looked like she was going to be something big going into WrestleMania, and then all of a sudden she disappeared. I still think it has to do something with the Wyatt Six, but now that they've been back, but it's almost like they're gun shy with them. They're not getting used as much as I thought they were. It's like the 1 year anniversary of the Wyatt Six coming. I remember when they showed up, it basically looked like Chad Gable got killed. He looked murdered out there. Like, how did he cut his head all up? He's bleeding, and just laying there, and he just showed up on Raw the next week. And it is what it is. But I keep trying to think like who is going to be the better one to go after, either Io Sky or Tiffany. And to me, honestly, I think I want to see Alexa Bliss versus Tiffany a lot. I think that's the big match that I'm hoping for. So I'm not sure how she does it, but Bliss has beat Ronda Rousey before. I'll take Bliss to win that match, setting up Jade Cargill against Alexa Bliss, which is weird because it's in the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. I've got SmackDown versus SmackDown, which could be something that they want to do to kind of emphasize the SmackDown brand because it's not on Netflix. It's not looked at as the number one brand, even though it's got like Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. They've got the better roster. It's just that Raw has always been the flagship, and I think it always will be the flagship. Maybe this is like the bragging rights moment where SmackDown can look and say, "Hey, we've got the finalists in the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring along the way." I think I'm kind of figuring out this StreamYard deal. So before I go into the next match, I'm gonna click this button and see if there's any comments. There's some guy named Mute Case that said hi. Hey, what up, everybody? Oh, that's my good buddy, Triple H guy, 2004, cheering on Oldberg. I'll tell you this much. Goldberg didn't look great last night. I still popped for the music, and then he came out. Um, there's not a ton I can say about about it. In the old days, I don't think Vince McMahon would have let Goldberg come back with as much gray as he had in his goatee. I think if he would have dyed it just a little bit, he wouldn't have looked as old. And he might be calling me out. It wasn't Samu, it was Manu, which you are 100% correct in that. It's been a long time. I was surprised I even honestly remembered that. And then SD commented, "How is Jem?" Jem's doing good, man. Jem's got a really, really good job. He's had this job for probably 10 years. And if you go on Instagram, you can see what it is. I don't want to be putting all of his information out there on the streets as much as he wants. I met up with Jem during WrestleMania 41 after night one. Jem made videos saying that he was going to WrestleMania. Jem made videos, I think, getting ready to leave like the night before. He did something special. He brought his kids with him. I don't think his kids are the biggest wrestling fans, but I think they wanted to go to WrestleMania to experience it. He only went to night one because of the fact that his kids were there. Me and Jim took a picture together, but we didn't like make a video together because I don't think he wanted to put that out there on YouTube, especially my YouTube. And I wanted to kind of like respect that, and because I understand it. Not everybody like lives their life out there on the street as much as I do. Pretty much, I haven't put my kids in a video I think in a long time. But if they didn't mind, I mean, if it made sense, if they had a care about R-Truth versus John Cena, I'd have him make a video tomorrow. But Jim's doing good, man. Jim's doing really, really good. I think he's at a point in his life where he realizes like YouTube doesn't really matter. He still watches wrestling. I think he watches old school wrestling more than he watches the new stuff, but he still watches current day, which makes him mad, which angers me sometimes is some of the things he says. Because I just we just don't share the same opinion when it comes to that. But it's not gonna break up our friendship. I'm gonna love that guy for the rest of my life. Triple H guy, good to see me making videos again. Honestly, I have a lot of fun making these, and I think I'm back to what it was in like 2010. I know I'm not gonna like score like those huge paydays that I used to get, but I'm just at a point in my life where my girlfriend just rolls her eyes at me sometimes when I start like talking about like wrestling and just telling her too much stuff that she doesn't really care about. But she's a true sport. She'll watch it with me when it's on Mondays. I wasn't home yesterday, but she wasn't gonna be there. But you know, she's a champ. She watches the pay-per-views with me. She watches Raw with me. We have an understanding that I only turn SmackDown on when it's like super duper important. But you know, I think that's cool. Um, Gavin Fletcher. Hope you're doing. Oh, I know Gavin Knotts. All right, cool, cool, cool. It's been a long, long time. Um, good time. Um, what was her first reaction of the NWO tat? I already had it, so there's nothing she can really do. I think I honestly got it like a week before I met her. I met her on Facebook Marketplace, which I don't think I would ever do again, which is like a dating site. I did it because honestly it was free, but I guess I got lucky. I'm gonna turn the comments off. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna come back to them. It's just I think it'll distract me. I got three more things that I really want to get to, and then we'll get back to these before we go. Um, this is really, really fun. It's just, I think it would be more fun if I had somebody in here to kind of like guide the ship. I miss you, Jeremy. I hope you're having fun out there, and I hope your Panthers are able to close the door tonight. And you guys get to heist up that Stanley Cup. You don't want to go to a game 7. I'll tell you the truth. I've been looking for the Oilers fan from last year. I think I retweeted that every single time that I saw it. But hockey, I love it. Can't go wrong. I wish I watched the NHL like I do Olympic hockey. It makes no sense to me. Olympic hockey comes on, anything involving Team USA, I'm there. I'm all about it. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to watch the NHL. I'm going to get me a team. If I became a fan of somebody, I think I would cheer for the Rangers. I think the reason why is because when Gretzky got traded, he might have been a free agent. He left the Blues and he went to the Rangers. I thought that was a big deal. Mark Messier was a guy that I knew for a little bit because when the Rangers had won the cup, he was all over the ESPYs. So I thought the Rangers were a really, really good team. I think I would root for them. I got a jersey of Gretzky on the Rangers. But that's about all I got. San Jose is the closest team to me here. But San Jose is not as close as you think it is. I think it's like probably like close to a 3-hour drive off the top of my head. Just to go to a hockey game. I don't know if I can do that. But main event of SmackDown 620 is going to be R-Truth versus John Cena. And everything that I have seen basically says that it's going to be a non-title match. I don't really understand that. I didn't know that Saturday night's main event was a non-title match until the match was over. I really believe that R-Truth was getting a title shot. For R-Truth, who I love R-Truth. R-Truth gets named to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. You're not going to see a video from me complaining about all these guys that got left out. I get it. I understand. The guy was there in the late 90s, the early 2000s. He left. He made a big name for himself in TNA. He came back. I want to say he made his return in like 2010. It's 2025. This guy survived all those years, where, we saw the ups, we saw the downs, the capital punishment pay-per-views, where he was supposed to be the biggest heel in the company, but in the long run, I think he was just a stopgap, um, which I hope plays in to Friday. CM Punk challenging John Cena at the Money in the Bank show. If you go back and you remember the Monday Night Raw of the pipe bomb, where CM Punk got the microphone and really used it for the first time the way that he did in his days before coming to WWE. It was R-Truth versus John Cena. I believe it was like a tables match. Maybe it was just a normal match, and CM Punk helped R-Truth throw John Cena through a table, and the match ended in disqualification. But Cena was laying there in the ring, and Punk grabbed the microphone and said that this was only going to take a minute. He hoped that John Cena was comfortable, so that he could listen to what he had to say. And then he ran Cena up and down, and then he ran the WWE up and down. It was almost like him trying to get his last thoughts off, because in storyline he was leaving WWE. Of course, then the whole storyline was like Vince McMahon trying to re-sign Punk because all of a sudden he realized how big of a star he was because of one episode of Raw. It's funny because they did a double taping that night in Las Vegas, at the UNLV Thomas Mack Center. They had to storyline suspend CM Punk from being at Raw the next week, even though he was just in the locker room. It's not like they grabbed his bags and they threw him out the back door and said, "See ya, Punk." Which, honestly, if it comes down to it, if they would have realized how big that would have blown up, they should have used Punk on that next Raw. But they write those shows probably so far in advance, especially with it being a double taping. Hopefully Raw wasn't 3 hours at the time, but I don't know, but I would love to see it. The CM Punk promos for this John Cena match, I think he's trying to walk up in the batter's box and just knock a grand slam to win it. Punk delivers good promos almost all the time, but these ones just honestly haven't reached to the TV and grabbed me. So the reason why they're doing this match is to set up something with Punk. I would love it. I think it would just make this SmackDown even bigger if you add CM Punk to the mix. They haven't really released like the graphics on Twitter saying who's going to be there and who's not going to be there. So I am looking forward to seeing Punk to be is going to be. But this R-Truth versus Cena match, do you really want to see R-Truth out there hitting all of his moves against John? Do you want to see John just bury him yet just once again, which doesn't really make a lot of sense? I think if you would have kept Truth and Cena separate, but had the kind of delivering promo lines back and forth, you could have built R-Truth up to the point where he could have been a United States champion, an Intercontinental champion, where people would have believed it. But now you're bringing something in, you're making it seem like it's a big deal. You got Triple H on the press conference basically saying that this was all a work, it's all a part of the show. But you put Truth in a situation against John Cena, you could have like a 2002 moment, like with The Rock and the Hurricane right before WrestleMania 19, and you could have Punk involved in this match, making sure that Cena lost to embarrass him in a non-title match to R-Truth. But how does that really help R-Truth in the long run? I guess if what I talked about earlier with Cena and some sort of like a six-pack challenge at Survivor Series, where you stack the deck against them, you could have something where you've got Sammy, Orton, Cody, Uso, you've got R-Truth in there going after Cena, and that's kind of like a Cena moment of like, how is he gonna do it? How is he gonna overcome this one? But this just seems like mindless filler that I kind of related to Triple H versus CM Punk at Night of Champions 2011, when the match was supposed to be Kevin Nash against Punk, and then they made it seem like those guys couldn't work together. And then all of a sudden on the Go Home Raw, they just have Triple H pull Nash into a room and said that this match isn't going to happen, that he's going to replace him. And I mean, Punk got huge. Punk got really huge. But as huge as he got, that was with WWE putting the chokehold on him. And, Triple H beating him at Night of Champions really didn't make any sense. So I don't see this match going any other way than the last match that we had at Saturday night's main event. And I don't think this time Cena is going to, take it easy on Truth. I think he's going to knock him with the belt. Honestly, as soon as he can. It's going to be night. And Cena's going to get the win here. Cena has to worry about Night of Champions, which is on the 28th. Only 8 days later, Punk versus Cena over there in Saudi Arabia. So Cena's going to get the win on SmackDown. And I think, honestly, that's about the only way that can happen. I need to take not even a 10-second break, but I think it's going to look weird if I walk over out of the frame. So I am coming right back. I just have to let my dogs in before they start making a ton of noise. They barked at the back door. They kind of gave us a little bit of a warning before they start flipping out. I had one of those oven ready lasagnas that I buy at Costco. We eat those probably once a week. And the dog got into the trash today and ate the tray. I got to pick that up in a little bit once I'm all done. But the next match we're going to move on to is going to be Night of Champions. Like I said, it's going to be 8 days after the SmackDown. It's going to be coming up. Saudi Arabia, WWE, honestly, they've really got no problem saying Saudi Arabia. I think it was only about 5 years ago. WWE got a lot of press when this deal with them first came out about them taking blood money. It got to the point where WWE didn't want to even say where the show was. But I remember those first shows where the guys were sitting on couches. It seemed like ringside. They've come a long way. I don't know if they have it in different arenas or it's always been in the same arena. I don't even know if it's in the same city. I always just say Saudi Arabia. So I don't know if it's a show that kind of just moves around. But at first it was Saudi Arabia wanted to show the rest of the world that they were just like us and they were just normal people that liked wrestling and they wanted to see these stars. And then of course, the weird news came out after the world's greatest, or was it the world's biggest? Whatever it was, the world's Royal Rumble, where they had a second Royal Rumble over there. It was won by Braun Strowman. And, the weird request came out from Saudi Arabia. They wanted Andre the Giant. They wanted Yokozuna. They wanted all of these, old past superstars that, they didn't know were deceased and they moved on. But I'll give it to Saudi Arabia. They're getting one of the hottest matches that WWE has up their sleeve. At Money in the Bank 2011, when it was announced that John Cena was going on his retirement tour, which didn't really get announced the best way. I thought he was retiring at WrestleMania. I thought he was announcing he was only coming back for one match, and then all of a sudden, in the press conference, he kind of stated it differently, that he was coming back for a year tour. At that point, WWE hadn't canceled house shows, so I thought he was going to go on a house show tour. But John's been around. He's been around a lot. He is the only superstar that has been on every pay-per-view. He was on Rumble. He was on Night of Champions. He was on WrestleMania. He was on Backlash. This guy has worked, and he has worked a lot, especially when it comes to earlier when I was talking about TKO kind of taking easier schedules on a lot of guys to prolong their career. it shows that Cena wants to do this. I think he knows he's not going to be able to do it forever, and that's why he was throwing in the towel now, and he wants to have one hell of a run. His gimmick of saying that he is the last real champion, that I think he wants to leave wrestling in a better spot than it was, and I wish people believed in Cena as a heel more than they do. I think for as much as people booed Cena and went on the internet and cried, I'm sure you can like look up my videos and say that it would make a lot of sense to turn John Cena heel. I think that people, as much as they booed it and they went crazy about Cena's wrestling back in the day, they miss it. It's gotten to the point where they want to see um the five moves of doom. And they want to see him get beat down. They want to see him get thrown through every obstacle there is in the book. And then all of a sudden, when all the chips are on the table, they get, the I still call it the FU. It's the attitude adjustment, and the you can't see me. I think that's what they want to be doing. And I think that if Cena did do a face year of him just being babyface, people would have, cried about him. They want to see him heal. They want to see him heal. So I think there was almost like a no-win situation for him. But I think that when we look back on this run in a year, 2 years, 3 years, I think people will realize that this run from John Cena was pretty damn smart, and we got some damn good matches out of it. So I hope that Punk has one hell of a night out there. Punk's had really, really good matches. I think the match against Rollins on Monday Night Raw was a big classic that sort of kicked off the Netflix era of wrestling. We don't get to see matches like that, especially when they were on USA back in the day. And I think everybody on that first Raw just wanted to make sure that they knew that one was something that was going to be remembered. They're not going to be putting out like DVD or Blu-ray sets, but I mean, if they were, I'm sure that show was one that people would want on their, I don't even know what's coming up, the 30th anniversary, 40th anniversary of Raw. I just remember that silver set that came out with like 10 various episodes. They were from the beginning. They were from the Attitude Era, the Glory Days. It just had good Raws on there. That thing was awesome. And if they were to make an updated set, I'm sure that first one would be there. I mean, how often do we get to see Roman Reigns have a real match, even if it's against Solo Sikoa? But Night of Champions, it comes down to it. I mean, I don't want to see this match broken up, or R-Truth makes another mistake and helps John Cena. But that's what I feel like it's really going to come down to. I don't think that they're going to have Punk lose due to Cena just hitting him in the face with the belt shot. But I think that they find a way for Cena to win. They keep him happy. I think that I'm still going to keep pushing for this six-pack challenge with John Cena. And I can honestly see Punk as one of the names in there. Maybe not him. Maybe it's like Orton, Cody, Uso, R-Truth, Punk. It could be something like that. But then as of last night, July 12th, Saturday night's main event, for some reason, which we all know the reason, WWE is going to be running a Saturday night's main event up against AEW's All In. I went and saw an All In show earlier this year here in Sacramento. It was the go home show to Revolution, which I think took place in like February. And I was excited to go. And honestly, I bought the tickets. It was the first wrestling show that I took my girlfriend to. And I did what I thought I was going to do, was like watch AEW leading up to it. I don't watch Dynamite. I don't know the name of the other show, Collision, routinely. Honestly, how I really followed AEW when I was like the biggest AEW fan I was BTE. And with BTE, you got to know the characters. You really got to know the newer characters. But They kept you invested in storylines to the point where I felt like you wanted to watch the TV show. And the Dark Order, they did a good job when they took over BTE. But then all of a sudden, one day, they just ended it. And they said they were going to do episodes like sporadically. I haven't seen an episode in a long damn time. And I'm not going to say that I'm not an AEW fan because they don't do BTE or the Dark Order show anymore. But I'll tell you, it's a big factor why I don't. Because when they needed to get a big match across for there's like the Young Bucks against somebody, they would run basically a promo or a commercial or like uh, a damn like a best of video, whatever the heck they call those, to get you pumped up for it. And since we don't have those, it is what it is. But All In is the WrestleMania of AEW. I don't know what else they're going to put on Saturday night's main event. Part of me, thinking of the way that WWE used to run back in the day, I wonder if they're going to hang Goldberg out to dry. And they're basically like, this is the biggest match that you're going to get. The last Saturday night's main event was stacked from beginning to end. I don't know if we're going to get another John Cena match. I don't know if we're going to get another Cody Rhodes match, but I could see them like having like Goldberg versus Gunther. It's going to be Goldberg's last ride. I in the promo, I didn't hear anything about Goldberg's last match. I didn't hear anything about a WWE championship match. So I don't know if there's a plan here for another match, Goldberg versus Gunther 2. Come SummerSlam. I don't know if all of a sudden the title is just going to be, put on the line. Maybe that's next week because the people have said that Goldberg is going to actually work a schedule where he's on Raw to build up this before July 12th. But is WWE just going to put like a tag title match? Is WWE going to put like the women's United States Championship match on the show, and it's not going to be like jam-packed because they want to try to take viewers away from AEW, but they don't want to put guys out there that like when the NBC number comes back and it's not as big as the last few specials, or it's just a clunker that nobody watches. You're not pointing at like, oh, people don't like Cody Rhodes anymore, or something like that. So part of me wonders if we're gonna get a 2016 Survivor Series moment where this is gonna be a non-title match. All of a sudden, Goldberg is just gonna run through Gunther. How can you have Goldberg's last match and not see Goldberg hit a spear? How are you not going to see him in a jackhammer? How are you going to see him hit a spear and a jackhammer and Goldberg not win this match? I don't see Gunther just kicking out of those moves. Those moves have taken down the biggest names of wrestling, whether it's Hulk Hogan, whether it's Brock Lesnar. Goldberg, he beat Brock 9 years ago, Survivor Series 2016. He beat The Fiend before WrestleMania 36. That would be WrestleMania 2020. That was only 5 years ago. He wrestled Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship 4 years. No, yeah, 2021, 4 years ago, where he was a contender for the championship. Goldberg, I believe, is 59 years old. I do not believe that Goldberg wants to come back for one more match to get just ran through by Gunther. That last storyline with the match at Roman Reigns beat Goldberg down, beat him and beat him and beat him to the point where he came on Raw and he delivered a promo that he was going to go home. He was going to rethink his career. He was going to retool. He was going to rebuild and come back stronger. And we never saw that Goldberg versus Roman Reigns rematch. It never happened. Goldberg almost honestly went to AEW. And then he almost went into Independence, where he wrestled Ryback in his last match. That was something that both of those guys were talking about. That was a match that could happen where they were just kind of spitting junk back and forth at each other. I wonder if Goldberg's just going to beat Gunther. And then all of a sudden, you're forcing the hand of Gunther wanting Goldberg to come back because he's embarrassed about his loss. He's still world heavyweight champion, but he can't go around losing to a guy like Goldberg. He's already lost to Sami Zayn. He's already lost to Jey Uso. He can't be this like champion who's not the champion. I think he's going to have to put it back. And then, you know, I've already got Cody winning this King of the Ring thing, which means that Cody would fight Cena at SummerSlam, which leaves the Monday Night Raw championship to be on the line at SummerSlam. It could be a match against Goldberg. It just could be that easy. Goldberg's shirt last night said Goldberg's last ride. You know, I don't think they're saying it's not Goldberg's last match. His last ride. Your last ride is not one time. We're not just going right down the street and then we're done. I think he's going full circle. I think he's coming all the way back home. I think we're getting 2 matchups with Goldberg. I think Goldberg's going to beat Gunther Saturday night's main event. It's going to be an oh shit moment where he wins. He wins for his family. And I think that if he shows up on Monday, I think Gunther's going to kick the crap out of him. He's going to beat him. He's going to leave him laying. He's going to choke him out. And I think Goldberg's pride is going to catch up with him where he wants to come back to revenge this beatdown. And we're going to get stuck with Goldberg versus Gunther come SummerSlam. That's what I see coming down. So those are the matches that I have in WWE for the summer of 2025. Let me know what you guys think. I know there was a lot of SmackDown talk on there. I'm going to go back over to the comments and we'll finish up with those. I'll tell you the truth, guys. I'm not the biggest. Okay, the ones at the top are the older ones. I just got to find out where I left off. Okay, here we go. So I'm going back to like 20 minutes ago. So I'm going to go down to the comments. I'm going to read them all and I'm going to answer them all. Hopefully I haven't been showing this dang smut bill where I've been showing you my address. It's easy to find online. People have been posting it there since 2010 thinking that they got something. You want to find my phone number online and call me? You call me up. It is what it is. It's out there. Javier Munoz says, is Goldberg good for business? I think when it comes to one match, 2 match, Goldberg's good for business. I think almost any legend who wants to come back for one more match that knows they can do it, who's going to train for it, who's not just going to come out there like Rock's dad at WrestleMania 11, rip his shirt off, and he's got a big gut on him. I think can do it. Like, you're going to tell me if Undertaker has a change of heart after doing this whole like LFG show where he's like, you know what? I love wrestling. I love the business. I want to have one more match. I want to fight Cody. We're not going to give Undertaker a match against Cody. I think it's good for business. It's going to sell a lot of t-shirts. It's hopefully going to bring back a lot of WCW fans for one more time. There's people out there when WCW went out of business, they stopped watching wrestling. They just lost everything. All of a sudden, Raw's numbers you think would double because all the WCW people come over. Probably stayed the same, if not went down because there was no war for people changing back and forth. So I think Goldberg's good. Gavin, yeah, of course you know me good. To see you are well. I miss the old days. I miss the old days too. I wish I was still running around 2011, 2012 at that age. I get old. Your body starts feeling things that it's never felt before. All of a sudden, you know, the alarm goes off and it takes an extra minute to get out of bed. Triple H booking is good, but it is so confusing. The conversations we used to have over Little Jimmy. I don't think there's a lot of people out there who remember Little Jimmy. I'm so surprised that Truth hasn't dropped one reference on Raw or SmackDown in a long time to the dude. I mean, there's people out there that bought a Little Jimmy freaking t-shirt. Let's so no JPG. I have no clue what that means. Stevie in chat, first time ever live for me. Yeah, this is my first time too. Favorite Tough Enough participants. I'll tell you the truth. I honestly only remember Miz, Maven, Luke Gallows, um, Joshua Matthews. That first year of Tough Enough, I can really honestly tell you that I watched the shows on MTV and cared about them. I don't really remember season 2. Season 3 took place on where did it take place on? On SmackDown. I didn't watch a second of it. I have the DVD. I don't think I've watched the whole thing, but I think I've turned it on a few times. Um, and then when Tough Enough came back in 2010, I was all about the first year. Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then when it came back the next year, which I think would be 2012. Yeah, I think it would be 2012. That's when Hogan gets fired. I think Jericho was like the host. Um, I didn't watch a second of it. God's honest truth. I don't remember a ton of stuff off of those, but those are the Tough Enough participants that I can remember off the top of my head. Truth booking has him confused. I thought him cutting his hair would have been a turning point. It just made the dude look crazy. I mean, it made him look like he would do anything. Like he would turn himself into like an almost an ECW, like throw it all out the wall, doesn't matter what happens, kind of dude. And when he didn't do anything like that, it kind of just made him into a laughing stock again. That just made him like I didn't have his braids out there. I'm all about 2-hour shows, although 2.5 hours is one hell of a compromise. 3 hours just somehow loses me. It makes me feel like I'm going to work. Chances of Shane McMahon returning to WWE. The last time that honestly I was really into AEW was last year when the Bucks took a picture with Shane. The Shane McMahon picture with Tony Khan came out. And I thought he was coming to AEW to be the leader, I guess you can say, or owner of what became the Death Riders. I really thought he was going to be who John Moxley was talking about when I think he gave his promo and says, "We don't work for you anymore." I thought he was going to be revealed to like kind of be the guy. Never really came to be. He said that he was just kind of wishing them well. Stories came out where he was interested in going to work for AEW, but he wanted ownership of some sort, I believe is what it was, but I'm not sure. Mr. Butler, hey man, what's up to you, man? Good times. Um, no, not JPG is running this chat right here. How can AEW be more interesting and more interacting for the rest of 2025? I'll tell you the one thing is put that freaking belt on anybody other than John Moxley. I'm a Hangman Page fan. I really, really believe in him, but I don't understand how he won that match to become the number one contender for the biggest show of the year. I know that they didn't go with him last year, but I think that dude is like a blue chipper. He's the one guy out there fighting the war for AEW. He has no problem in any interview delivering some shade on WWE, on Triple H, saying that he doesn't like the style, but I just would have gone with the other guy. That's just me. I don't know anything about the lawsuits about John Moxley, but I saw a tweet about it that kind of related to somebody doing a run-in on him in a cage match, and Moxley pushed him down. Something about a screwdriver in his pocket. I don't know if that's a fan. I don't know if it's an indie worker, but I don't know anything about it, honestly. Should Mercedes Moné really win both the ROH and the AEW women's title? I don't know, but I'll tell you the straight up truth. I am not a Mercedes Moné fan. In character, out of character. She threw a Sharpie at me. Oh, I don't have a Sharpie. I thought it was just like a Sharpie that I had at work, but like a dart. She threw it at me. When I asked her for her autograph, and we were talking about the last time I had seen her on TV, and she asked me if I was an Alexa Bliss fan. And I think she had just beat up Alexa Bliss, and she said, "Are you an Alexa Bliss fan?" And I said, "Yeah." And she just took the pen that she was gonna sign my autograph with and just darted it right into my chest. And I ended up sweet talking her, turning baby face on her, getting her to sign my picture. And the second she signed it and she gave me the pen back where I wouldn't get darted again, I told her I lied and I was an Alexa Bliss fan. But Hikaleo's debut, I don't watch main events. I only saw him walking down to the ring. I'm guessing that he's gonna be with Solo come SummerSlam, unless they want you to think that, and it's not gonna go that way. Can Omos finally win the championship? I don't understand how that guy got a new contract. I don't understand why he wasn't released when MVP was released. This guy should be selling cars. I mean, that's just when it comes down to it. The last match that I remember him being in is the Royal Rumble the year before last. I haven't seen him do anything since then. The last singles match I remember him being in was against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 39. WrestleMania 41 just happened. I don't understand that at all, but it ain't my money. If WWE thinks he's a diamond in the rough and they're going to be able to fix him someday and they're going to get him wrestling the style of matches they want, or they can figure out how to use him, I don't know. When he was with AJ and they were the tag champs, I understand that they can't be the tag champs their whole lives. That made sense to me. And the matches worked. They weren't great, but they were good. AJ pretty much did all of the work. And then when he got in trouble, Omos saved him. I loved it. Let's see. I like this one here. NWO, DX, or Bullet Club. I will tell you that honestly, I own more Bullet Club shirts than I know what to do with. I can make one hell of a quilt now. I just lost track with the Bullet Club. I don't know if the War Dogs or the Bullet Club now. I think they are, because at one point I think Connor's I forgot the cowboy's name. I really liked him the one time I saw him. I think his name's Connors. Can't remember his last name. And Gabe Kidd, I think at one point they had joined the Bullet Club, but I think they turned the Bullet Club into War Dogs, which I'm not 100% sure. But at that last LA New Japan show, the Bucks and the Good Brothers teamed up against the War Dogs, which I think was Bullet Club against them, but I didn't watch the show. So I'm not 100% sure. But at one point, the Bullet Club ran my life when I was getting into Japan. I thought it was the coolest thing in wrestling. I love DX, but I would have to put DX3 on the list. And then NWO, I believed in the WWE back in the day. I really thought that they would win the war against what the hell was I saying? That they would win the war against WCW one way or another. It just took them a while to figure out. If you were watching the shows, you really could feel that WWE was putting on a better show than WCW. But the stuff that the NWO did with WCW, bringing back the old names, giving you nostalgia out there, they really didn't have the best storylines. But Hogan, Hall, Nash, Bischoff, nothing was better than that. I know that it got watered down with the goofy version of the Giant and guys like the Big Boss Man, Virgil, Mr. Wall Street, who I think is the worst member of the NWO of all time. The NWO was awesome. And it was the one reason I was flipping off of WWF to watch WCW. So I think the NWO is the greatest wrestling faction of all time. Don't worry, you're not missing much with Collision. It's been 4 hours on Wednesday. I already know where you're going. They already lost me. I don't care if I miss that swerve match, which everybody says was 17 stars. I'm not sitting through 4 hours of wrestling to get to one really, really good match. I just only got so much time in the day. And that show, I think I have to watch live if I want to watch it. I don't think I have a way to watch it live here, and that's way too damn late when I got to work on Thursday. Goldberg's final match, Goldberg versus Cena. I'm not with you, Pats Nation. I don't think that we need that match. Get the likes up. I don't even know how the likes thing works. I don't know how anything works, but I appreciate all the help I can get. Ryback still wants to face Bill Goldberg. When was the last time that Ryback wrestled a match? I follow him on Twitter still. Every once in a while, I see that he tweets out his wrestling gear. He's still got boots. He's still got singlets. But does he just like host I don't even know. Does he have like a podcast? Does he just do an internet like Twitter live show and everybody tunes in? Does he talk about wrestling? Is it all about bodybuilding? Is it all about selling his pre-workout stuff? I'm not really sure. At one point, I loved Ryback. I thought he was awesome. Everybody did. When he filled in for Cena, I believe it was at Hell in a Cell against Punk. That dude was over. That dude was over before then, and they just cranked it up to 10 by pushing him to the main event. It was one of the few times WWE took a chance, and it honestly really worked. Him losing that TLC match early in January, and I think WrestleMania 29, he got put in the match against Mark Henry, which Mark Henry won. I still don't understand that one part of WrestleMania 29, how you beat Ryback there, but then Ryback turns heel after that. He loses to John Cena, and they just loses everything they got. But when they brought him back in that tag team with Curtis Axel, I thought those dudes were awesome. And I think that's where Ryback's story ends. I don't think he ever got a singles push again. I think just one day he decided he was done. He had jobbed his last match, and it was over. But I loved it. But I think Ryback's done. It's kind of like the Colin Kaepernick thing, who I loved. And at one point, I thought he was the best quarterback in the NFL. But I think the way that he got kicked out and got no offers from the NFL made no sense at all. I think there's really smoke behind the fire that the NFL said, hey, don't sign this guy. And but the fact that he's been out of the league for 7-8 years, however long it's been, and he still thinks that he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, bro, I don't think you can sit out 2 years and come back. Like I don't think you can come back. That makes no sense to me at all. I don't care how many hits you haven't got. You're not running from defensive linemen. I mean, no. You get hit one time, you're done. Let's see. Let's keep rolling through these. Lots of things about Goldberg. Knock on the door. Security entrance. Goldberg versus Owens would be one hell of a match. And I think Kevin Owens would love that. I bet that Kevin Owens would come out and say that Goldberg he was a fan of. The story about Kevin Owens playing as a 15-year-old, playing with his figures, and he would play like the CD for the Stone Cold Steve Austin music, but he didn't feel like the glass shattering was believable enough. So he took an actual coffee mug and he threw it against the wall to make the glass shattering noise. But the only problem was when he threw it, it stuck in the wall, in the drywall. I love that story. That's from one of his Kevin Steen shows, the DVDs that were sold at High Spots that sometimes you can find on YouTube. And if you do find, like, watch any clips you can, because those shows are really, really good. Imagine Cena versus Goldberg for their final match. That's not something that I'm looking for. I skipped one. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Rusev versus Gunther someday, but Rusev has to get believable. Rusev has to start beating some dudes that aren't named Tozawa. I thought we were going to get Rusev versus Sheamus, but instead he got put in that 4-way. But Rusev's at a point where he's just kind of a throwback name, kind of like in 2016 when they brought back Kurt Hawkins, when they brought back, I can't remember any other names they brought back in 2016, but all of a sudden they brought back a whole bunch of guys because they didn't have anybody that they could beat on TV. Rusev, it looks like he's almost setting himself to be one of those guys. I hope he's just happy with the match after Atlanta, and Goldberg says that's it. Honestly, yeah, I think that is good too. I want Goldberg to have a really, really good match. I think about Mick Foley when he was wrestling. If you think about Foley, he had one of the best retirement matches against Triple H, Hell in a Cell. I believe it's No Way Out. It's right before WrestleMania 16. So that would be in 2000. And Foley loses, but then he comes back the next month, which was not the plan. I think that he got so over that they wanted to bring him back, and he came back because he wanted to say that he main evented a WrestleMania. He ends up, wrestling in the WrestleMania main event. He's the first guy eliminated. Well, Big Show might have somebody got eliminated first, but Foley's not involved in the finale of the match. He just comes back, and then he kind of like lingers, and he's like, "Hey, maybe I can, do one more." And he has the match against Orton, and the match is awesome. Then he has, I think, a match against, I can't remember. I remember the matches against Flair. Those are like 2006, I want to say. Those are bad. And he looks at it and he's like, dang, I got to have one more match. So my last match isn't that match. And you just keep playing this game where you like think you got it. So you do it one more and then you fall back down and you have to like keep figuring it out. I don't want to see that for Goldberg. I want him to think, I wrestled in front of my son. I did it. I did it at 59. I was a big name. There's a lot of people who throw shade at Goldberg that he was never really good, that he was the flash in the pan. He was like the one trick pony in WCW, blah, blah, blah. The guy was over. He was fun. If you were watching wrestling at the time, you wanted to see Goldberg, and it was the one reason why you were flipping back from WWF to watch WCW in those days. It was like the last thing they had. Is Big Vito right that Stax is copying him? I think you're talking about NXT, and I'll tell you the truth, I got no clue. Chad Rap, I got Sprite iced tea right here, or whatever it's called, Sprite plus tea. I'm tipping it at you. I wish I was tipping something stronger, something better, but I think about you all the time, and you disappeared on Twitter one day. If you ever come back, you are one of my favorite follows. You are one of my favorite YouTubers. You're just a good dude, man. And I've met a lot of people from YouTube. I honestly wish I could have met Chad someday. Kentucky is someplace that I want to visit one day. I want to make like that tour of like Tennessee, Kentucky, go through there. Beautiful, beautiful country out there. But my dude, man. I hope that gets to you. You said that like 20 minutes ago. But this says DM you. If you DM me on YouTube, I don't know where it goes. At one point, we used to get messages on there. I don't know where that is anymore. If you send me any kind of message on Twitter, I'm gonna get back to you, public or private. It doesn't matter. Just don't send me your wiener. And now, God damn it! Now that I said that, do not do it. Too late for Sting versus Undertaker. I think the perfect timing for Sting versus Undertaker would have been after WrestleMania 36, when they did the Boneyard match that was set up like a movie, and Sting did it when he went to AEW, and I think that if you would have done Sting versus Undertaker and you would have done it in some sort of situation, 2020, 2021, where the guys could have done a move, took a break, done a move, took a break, and pieced it together and had it make sense, that would have been awesome. They could have made it a whole pay-per-view. Sting versus Undertaker, one match, one time only. You're telling me we wouldn't have watched that? We watched anything. WWE at that point sucked. There ain't no other way to say it. WrestleMania 36 to WrestleMania 37, that stuff was garbage. Raw, SmackDown, I think the whole Performance Center to Thunderdome, it was no good. Roman Reigns included. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. They're both retired. If they would have done it, it would have made sense. You're better off not winning Tough Enough. I guess that is true. I remember the two girls won it season 2, and that was kind of like people were surprised because they had done a man and a woman the first time, but I think they looked at those girls and they were both, full-fledged main eventers. Jackie Gadea, the future Miss Haas, she won. I can't remember the other girl's name, but they had that horrible match with Bradshaw and Trish Stratus. Let's see. Brock Lesnar and AEW. I don't think I'm not going to say that they can't afford Brock. I just think that it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I remember the first time that he became a free agent and AEW was first starting, it made sense, but not now. I think that AEW is too scared to touch anything that is controversial. I think they've made too many comments about WWE and other wrestlers that they don't want to come out and look like hypocrites, to the point where they're getting behind something that, it's just, they're going to have more stuff thrown against the wall that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, Triple H guy. Omos still under contract. Omos just re-signed a new contract like this week. Didn't make any sense to me either. No JPEG. Hopefully you, I don't know, watch the rerun or you watch the end of this, but you gotta go. I understand. I don't really have anything to do. I just think I've done this too long, so I'm finishing up with these, and then I'm gonna take off. So I appreciate you, Pat's Nation taking off. Good times. DX, NWO, Bullet Club. DX's NWO, Bullet Club, not even on my list as top factions. You're probably a Four Horsemen fan. I'm pretty damn sure. For AEW is 4 hours on Wednesdays. One thing I want to learn is like how you make the things pop up on the screen. I wish I knew how to do that. Jeremy will teach me that. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm setting this thing up right. I hope that once I end this, it's saved on my channel instead of just being live all the time. It like keeps it there forever. That's another thing I didn't look into. He has a food YouTube channel last time I saw. So I think Ryback just eats In-N-Out Burger online. I'm not sure. Final pre-show. Oh, you're right. Ryback fought against Kalisto at WrestleMania 32 in the pre-show. I didn't get to see that. I was sitting out in the parking lot. I was dying to get in there. I wanted to watch Ryback, but I guess that was his last match. Rusev Day chants were loud here in Wisconsin last night. Braun person was incredible. I bet it was. I hope so. I want to see Rusev get made into a big guy. He went on like a 4-year hiatus in AEW. Twice. I think they were using him right, and they just killed it. It doesn't make sense. But we're gonna end it with Nydia was the other Tough Enough gal. Yeah, you're right. But I really appreciate you guys. This was Stevie Breach first live stream. Like I said, the other channel is Rock and Noel's channel. His name's Jeremy. He's a really, really good dude. He's a really good guy. We go live Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And we just do this. But it's a little bit better because it's not me just trying to put this together where I talk for an hour and a half. We try to keep it to about 45 minutes. But I appreciate you guys. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. It looks like, honestly, we were kind of like a constant 10. I'm not looking for 100 people in here. I don't have 100 people that really watch my videos on a consistent basis anymore. But for the people who do stop in, I appreciate you guys. And you guys made it a lot more fun. Oh, dude, I think I put this down. Show comments on stage. I think if I push that button, it would push them over here. But then I wonder, because they kind of were coming fast, I wonder if that would like take over the show. All right, we'll figure this out. This is my cat. It's got like it's gone. It's got like 1,000 names. I think now I'm calling it Tiger. But I think when we got it, I was telling everybody the name was Wally. So I think my kids call it Wally. But thank you guys. I appreciate y'all. See you down the road. End stream. Please save. No outro video. End stream.